Make the video.
Elsweyr is full of cat-like people called Khajiit. In the desert and in the jungle, the cats live. And there's one with really fucking long hair. Really long hair, and he's called a mane, and he's a cultural leader. Welcome back to FudgeMuppet, it's Michael and Scott, and this is our brand new video on Elsweyr as a potential location for Elder Scrolls 6.
Alright, so the first thing we're going to look at is environment. Now, as we know, or maybe you don't know, Elsweyr is located beneath Cyrodiil and to the right of Valenwood. Now, Elsweyr is basically a big desert, but it is split into two parts.
Yeah.
So on the top, you've got your more flat, badlands sort of plains, you know, nice stands, but a lot of arid, dry area. And then down the bottom, you've got your more dense, tropical, rainforest, grovey area, filled with all kinds of hallucinogenic things and moon sugar and all that kind of crap.
Straight away, that would... sugarcane kind of plain kind of things. Yeah. Straight away, that's going to be really cool, especially on the sort of the graphics we have in the modern games now. Like compared, like the most alien sort of environment we had was sort of Morrowind. Before that, well, Oblivion was all just sort of, you know, neutral. But we'll have like this. We haven't seen, you know, the Skyrim level of detail, but with deserts and tropical areas and
now,
beaches.
In terms of a possible game like Elder Scrolls 6 Elsweyr, I don't know if it could be a whole game in itself. I mean, sure they could, because a lot of Elsweyr lore is sort of missing, so they could add a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Personally, as we said in our ideal Elder Scrolls 6 video, we think that if it was Elsweyr, it'd be an Elsweyr Valenwood.
Yeah,
it'd have to be the two.
Because then that's roughly-ish the same size as Skyrim landmass-wise.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. And it would add a bit more diversity.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about the environment is, like, it's being cut in half. It's very diverse, and, like, you know, down the bottom, it's very hallucinogenic. Not just moon sugar, but things like nightshade. A lot of it's poisony kind of mushroom stuff, magic mushrooms. But yeah. So you know, nightshade. So Khajiit love nightshade, even though it's poisonous. And there's actually a bit of superstition with nightshade. They actually like keep it under their armor. They think it protects them. Thinks it makes them invisible, even though it doesn't, as we know from its active effects in Oblivion and Skyrim. But yeah, it's sort of superstition. Khajiit are very superstitious people, so in terms of culture, that would as well add a lot of depth to the game if they wanted to make it very detailed, if it was just Elsweyr and it was just this big concentration of Khajiit culture.
And onto races, and to the race itself, the Khajiit.
Yeah.
Now, as you know or don't know, there are many different types of Khajiit, shapes and sizes, like goes from little house cats to like giant mammoth saber cats.
They're all Khajiit. They're all just
cats.
as Khajiit as each other.
It's all based on the moon phases of when they're born. Now the cat, I think I forgot exactly what type it is, but the Khajiit there's a certain type of Khajiit that you play in every single. Yeah.
So it's the same one so far in Elder Scrolls series.
Yeah,
which
the 3, 4, yeah.
And then you've also got ones that look a bit like an elf, but they're just human. They're just
ones that basically look like a human
so
elf.
They tattoo Khajiit markings on their face to fit in more. You've got the big tall ones, which is just like get a Khajiit and then upscale it, so it's like
jaguar
7 foot tall, filled with muscle.
Yeah, well, see, the problem is you probably wouldn't be able to, unless they added like some sort of like sub-race kind of thing. I don't know.
I personally
you wouldn't
think
be able to play them.
That the other breeds, just in terms of making the game, shouldn't be playable.
Would have to be NPCs.
Yeah, they'd have them everywhere as NPCs, but just have the main Khajiit we've been playing so far.
Well, that would be really cool, I think. Anyway, imagine going through some town and Elsweyr, and you go down and go into a shop.
And it's run by a house cat. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or something like that. And then there's some big mercenary dude and his huge jaguar kind of guy.
They're used for spies a lot, the house cat. Because, like, you know, who's going to suspect a cat? And
well, some of them can't speak too, some Khajiit.
The cats can't speak, but they can understand. They can understand the language. I'm pretty sure they can't speak, but they can understand. And then as well, you have mammoth-sized saber cat-looking motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Which are Khajiit too, just as Khajiit. Like the same, you can talk, understand, and they're used in sort of big battle scenarios.
Though, they could add a whole extra part of customization for the Khajiit. So they could have allow you to use it, because you know how we talked about adding beast feet and stuff. There's a difference between they could, if beast feet was an implemented feature and if it was optional, it would make sense in Khajiit. So you could use the other beast feet or just a few more humanoid ones.
Yeah, it'd have to be just normal Khajiit, the more humanoid Khajiit, and the Jaguar gigantic. Even if it's that,
you
couldn't play as a man.
I don't think the programmers could be fucked really.
Yeah, I know.
Because then they have to do armors and the scaling. That's too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
hit like boxes.
Yeah,
but
and all that kind of stuff, and like just animations, configuring like.
Of course. Another thing they could also add, which do exist in Elsweyr, and also Cyrodiil I'm pretty sure, but we didn't see any in Oblivion, was werelions. So they could be playable, you could, turn into lions, or just maybe fight them, maybe they're just, non-playable.
Yeah.
But the whole were culture is very interesting. Like we said in Somerset Isles video, were sharks,
Yeah.
There's all kind of like were vultures in Valenwood, then you've got were lions in Elsweyr.
Were boars in High Rock.
Werewolves, they're interesting. So in terms of factions, not a lot is known about Elsweyr, but in terms of the two biomes, the two separate terrain areas of Elsweyr, you actually have sort of nomadic tribesmen inhabiting the top part, so like Mad Max style, you got the desert, you got the bandit sort of people going around, all the tribesmen, and then down the bottom, you've got in the plantations of Moonsugar, you've got more, rich people and a more aristocracy of plantations and class and money. So, they could be two factions, either, just different sort of groups. And I mean, the tribesmen could not just be one faction, there could be many factions up there, all sorts of things going on. But there's just two very distinctive, traits of the land.
Yeah. And well, as for the guilds, we already know. Like, there's typically a Mages Guild, a Thieves Guild, a Dark Brotherhood, and so on. I'm pretty sure in Cicero's journal, some of the last Dark Brotherhood, he was in Elsweyr at some point. But that's gone now. The last Dark Brotherhood is in Skyrim, supposedly. So, however,
if the canon went that it
re-expanded.
But
do you know what I think it'd be interesting to just bring a new Assassin Guild, like something that's completely fresh and Khajiit focused or something, or have some sort of cultural significance to the Khajiit.
And honestly, I think do that for all the guilds. I reckon you should have a Khajiit magic guild, sandy sort of robes and
even have that maybe as a more like a tribal sort of found.
Yeah, like tribal magic in the desert.
Yeah, like having so you, instead of even just a guild, it could be like a nomadic faction of mages going around, and they're all like in the desert. They've got camp and stuff.
Well, that's what I was trying to explain when I'm saying the nomadic tribes, not just one faction. It's just but
just have this one
different.
That'd be interesting.
And then same with Fighters Guild as well.
I think they could keep the Thieves Guild consistent if they wanted to.
Yeah, probably.
Or something.
Yeah, Thieves Guild is generally this.
But another Warrior Guild.
There could be a Khajiit Thieves Guild. You never know.
Warrior Guild, like imagine the big mammoth. Exactly. And all that, the big leader, some Jaguar guy.
So as we know, Khajiit are very biologically and spiritually connected to the two moons, Massa and Secunda.
Yep.
It dictates what breed or form they take. So it's a big part of their religion as well. And what happens is they get a leader called the Main, which is basically the big religious political authority of Elsweyr, and they, superstition says there can only be one main at a time, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, because to create the main or whatever, both the moons have to be in alignment, and then another moon, which is rarely seen, is also in alignment with that. Okay. And there's no law regarding its frequency, like you don't really know how often it happens. They could establish that in the new game perhaps. But it is said to be a very rare occurrence. But then no one's sort of sure if the main actually eliminates its competition. So we don't know if there is one main at all time and it's a biological, spiritual connection that the universe or the moons or whatever is only keeping one main at all times, or if the main is getting assassins or whatever else to kill any other newborn mains or other mains that are out there now. And that could tie in really well with Dark Brotherhood quest or an Assassin's Guild quest. Imagine that you find out that you're working for the main, like it's full corrupt.
It would easily work in for a whole main story element too. Obviously, I'm sure they will.
Yeah,
anyway.
of course.
But because unifier of the people, isn't it? The main when they come, see, that's like the main is the one thing that like unifies the two. So
and the main as well isn't.
You are instead of Dragonborn, you're the main.
No.
You're a Nord with really long hair.
Yeah, I want to play an Argonian main.
Long feathers.
Yeah. No, but the main isn't actually a different breed, dude.
It's just a.
I don't know what it is because really it's not specific breed. It's just the Moon Alliance, but then
They have to carry his hair.
like is the main can it be a house cat? Like
I don't know.
do you know what I mean? Like because it's
I
not
think I'm just
specified.
assuming it's just the normal.
That's what I'm
But
thinking.
they walk around like isn't something they help carry his hair or some shit?
Probably
Because it gets ridiculously long. Like,
yeah.
It's like some wacky shit.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
FudgeMuppet be like. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Elder Scrolls 6 Elsweyr. If you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share, show your mom, your grandma, all those people who don't actually care about the channel.
Your uncle.
Your uncle.
Your niece.
Your niece.
Your fourth cousin twice removed.
Your fourth cousin twice removed. And check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Follow us on all of them.
On all of them for exclusive content, voting options, and just because you can.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
And ladies.
And ladies. 5% ladies. So yeah.
Ciao. What the fuck does that say? Oh.
Oh yeah, we'll do
Well.
Where lions.
I thought it said wear melons.
It's
just like a watermelon.
Where melons, guys. Where melons.